Hello again. You are still watching the Speak Up and Speak Out live with your girl Shay Johnson at, of course, My Loved Ones USA Fibroid Centers. I'm on their page and we're doing lives today because I am taking over, which I've been doing throughout the day. I had a few amazing guests on the topic, which is mental health. That's right. I spoke a little bit about my mental health and the issues I went through when I had fibroids. At the time, I didn't notice that I was depressed or going through mental health issues. But I think it's very important to tap into that world because there's a lot of women like me that are also going through mental health issues. So we spoke with Dr. Shiloh, amazing doctor. He performs UFEs. He sees women, like different women every day, and he kind of has been able to go through the ups and downs that they go through, you know, the emotions they go through with fibroids. So he was a really good candidate to talk to about fibroids. And then we spoke to my brother, Dr. Joe Johnson. He speaks a lot on mental health. He travels around the country doing different speaking engagements. So I thought he was another good individual to speak with, but I had to save the best for last. My sister, Dr. Brandy Johnson. She is a doctor and she also specializes in mental health, and I just wanted her to come on live with me to give her perspective, and she's here. You ready, sister? Let's do this. I'm going to call Brandy now. Let's see if we can get that information from her that will help us move forward. We all know we need it. Sister!
What it do, sis? We got you, girl. Green.
I know. Got my army hat on. I'm a soldier, ready to fight this war for fibroids. How you doing? Hi, nephews.
You know they're not too far behind. If I'm around, there we go.
All right. So the topic is mental health, and I know that you have a lot of opinions when it comes to mental health. But what I specifically want to focus on is how do we maintain our mindsets, and how do we make sure we don't go into that deep depression when it comes to mental health while having fibroids? Are you really familiar? First off, are you familiar with fibroids, sister? I know you know I had it, but outside of me, are you familiar with fibroids at all?
No, I am actually quite ignorant to fibroids, and everything I know has come from you. So it would be useful to have a recap since we're talking about it in the context of mental health.
Yes.
And
Well, actually,
for my own mental health, Carter, can you please mute the television?
All right. So let's start off with fibroids are benign tumors that grow on your uterus. When I had them, I had 4. But it depends on your body. You can have 1, you can have 50, you can have some that are the size of a quarter or a bean, or you can have some that grow to the size of a grapefruit or larger. It just depends on your body, but some of the symptoms that come along with them, and you know what I went through, was heavy menstrual cycles, which extended from 15 to 20 days per month, every month. I became highly anemic. My hemoglobin was all the way off. I needed blood transfusions. I had back pain, pelvic pain, constant urination. And because of all of that, I was embarrassed by the symptoms behind fibroids. So I didn't tell you guys right away. I pulled back from family, friends. I stopped dating. And it was just, I noticed later on that my mental health was affected because of fibroids. So I figured it was a good idea to have a topic on fibroids because I know a lot of other women are going through that mental health process the same way I did. And I know you're highly educated in mental health, even though you might not be so familiar with fibroids, you're very familiar when it comes to mental health. So first, let's tap into where does this mental health come from? Like why? This is all new to me as well, the mental health.
Yeah, I mean, you know, just like we have to attend to our physical health, our spiritual health, our financial health, our mental and psychological health is very pivotal too. And I really respect and appreciate that you're bringing the topic or the connection of mental health to the forefront as it relates to fibroids, because that mind-body connection is real. Like if your physical is not good, it's going to impact your mental. And if your mental is not good, it's going to impact your physical. So I love that you're talking about it in relationship to fibroids.
Yeah.
So yes, all of us have mental, what we call vitality, like psychological vitality, which is essentially like our psychological strength. And I don't know about you, but different life experiences can wear that down, like can break down that muscle. And fibroids is one of the things that could do that because it takes a toll on your body.
So what are the signs you look for when it comes to mental health? I didn't know I was depressed. I didn't even know I had mental health issues until I started to learn more about it. So it's like, I guess because you're more familiar with mental health, and I know it can happen with different areas in your life. What are some of the signs that you should look for?
Yes, you want to be really intuitive. And what I mean by that is like know yourself. So if you are typically a really like silly person, that something has changed mentally. If you notice changes in your behavior, a lot of times people notice mental health challenges before you even notice it. Like the people around us might notice. I'm gonna tell you, my kids, they can detect my mood sometimes better than me. Like I might say something and Joey will be like, "Mommy, why your voice sound like that?" And then I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm agitated, you know." So sometimes the people closest to you have a better pulse on how you're doing mentally than even you do. So whenever you notice changes, whenever stressful events are occurring, even if you have a high stress tolerance, it's going to have an impact on you. So that's how you know it.
What do I didn't know that I had it, so I didn't do anything about it at the time, but I feel like because of my life experiences, especially with fibroids, I kind of can recognize certain things better now when it comes to mental health. But for people who cannot, once they recognize the different triggers for mental health, how do you remove them? How do you reach and receive help? Is it a psychiatrist, a psychologist? Is it your doctor? Because my doctor didn't talk to me about mental health. They just was like, you have fibroids. It's common in all women, especially African-American women. And these are your options: myomectomy, hysterectomy. There was no sympathy in this conversation. It was just, oh, this is just another one.
Yeah. It was all the medical?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other thing I will say is if you notice changes in your daily functioning too, like you sleep more or you sleep a lot less, like having insomnia, or you develop habits like we drink more or we shop more or we eat more, that's another indication that we're trying to self-soothe a depression or an anxiety. So what you want to do, honestly, the most important thing is just like acknowledging I'm not doing okay. You could talk to any of the people that you described. You could bring it up to your physician. You could say, hey, there's some things that have been changing in my behavior or my sleep or my appetite lately. And then they can help you get connected to a therapist, a psychologist, or a psychiatrist.
So either or can help you when you're going through your mental health process, psychiatrist or psychologist.
Start anywhere. Yes, start anywhere. Psychiatrists are medical doctors with a specialization in psychiatry. So they are more medical doctors and they're going to be prescribing medication, like anxiety medication or antidepressant medication, or even herbs, like herbal stuff. Like people hear about ashwagandha and some of the other herbs to help with your stress hormones. I take ashwagandha for my stress hormones.
I take
so that's not like, yeah, girl, you know, you better get the healthy hand. You better get them turmeric gummies, okay? So that to supplement your vitamins and all that, a psychologist, which is what I am, we specialize more in talk therapy. So what people usually say is that having a psychiatrist and a psychologist is the best combination of and help you kind of find your way out of it more so than a psychiatrist.
That's what you do. You more so help people through the situation. You don't prescribe like any type of medication or suggest herbs or anything like that. You literally help them through. I would want to talk to someone like you. I mean, it would be different with you and I because you're my sister. And a lot of times when it comes to family, it's almost like it goes through one ear and out the other. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's not the information, but it's who it comes from. And I don't know why that is. But even with Joe, you know, I've had really deep conversations with Joe, and it was just like, shut up, you're just trying to talk that doctor talk to me. When realistically, I should listen to him.
What he's talking about?
Right, and he does. He absolutely does. But because I'm his sister and I know where he comes from, and I don't. It's just something in me it doesn't click right away. But
Right.
I had to sometimes sit back, like, you know what, my brother was actually right. Let me call him back. Like, hold on. And he does it. And I used to feel like he would give me these lectures all the time, where really he was just trying to help me, and he's just teaching me what he's been taught. And I
Yeah.
just wasn't trying to listen. So it's the same. I don't know if I can lay on the couch and tell you about my issues with fibroids, the depression I went to, because I literally cut everybody off. I was dating. I just distanced myself from everyone. So is that depression or mental health, or does that run in the same family?
Yeah, it's the same. So mental health is the umbrella, and then everybody's specific mental health issue has a different name. So it could be anxiety, it could be depression, it could be post-traumatic stress disorder. It might not even meet the criteria for a disorder, but you're just having symptoms. But I appreciate what you're saying, sis, because you're right. I am perfectly happy being your sister. I don't need to be your shrink. Although I'm happy with that. Like, I appreciate having that role, and you deserve to have somebody that's outside of the family that's a little bit more impartial, a little bit more objective, because like your point with Dr. Joe, with your brother, you knew Dr. Joe before Dr. Joe. You know, people knew Dr. Brandy before Brandy. So it's so
Right.
funny because even my family and my friends, I be trying to offer them stuff that people pay me a lot of money for. And they be like,
Right.
nah. I'm like, okay, I'm giving it to you for the free.
But I
So,
guess it's because, I don't know, I see you guys, when it comes to family, there's a different light I see you under. I
sure.
don't see you as someone I would, now I tell you a lot of my issues. We know that, my personal issues and